Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor.
Law firms will take this as a retainer.
What? It must be a law firm where they hungry as hell. Now you gonna help me with this parole I'm dealing with?
Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor. With one taste of our premium blends of all-natural ingredients, herbs, and spices, you'll fall in love with meat all over again. Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce collection is made up of 2 zesty flavors, original and spicy. There's only one way to bring order back to barbecuing. Just add Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce and seasoning, and you be the judge.
Good evening. Hi. Welcome. It's Friday night. Sometimes I do a live show, sometimes I don't. It depends on what the topic is. And I really only do it with the judge, or I would do it with someone if it's, a major topic, right? And it is today because we are still on that Fani Mammy train. We still got to drag this bitch through the coals, honey. Yes, we do. Yes. Daddy took the stand today to smooth things over. He did a really good job. Of course, the judge is going to come up and break down the father's testimony. We're going to show a little bit of clips from his testimony. And as you can see in the title, ex-Black Panther father testifies. Yes, the New York Post, they have to dig up people's past, and they wrote an extensive article on how he's an ex-Black Panther and he didn't like the cops, whatever, to add more sauce to it. But, when the judge come up, he's going to break it all down. I do see him. So guys, please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the bell button to get all notifications. And, and then we have to talk about Trump ordered to pay $370 million, and he's banned from the state of New York for 2 years. Don't nobody want to go to New York. New York is a shithole right now. So yeah, but we'll touch on that towards the end. And like I said, we're not going to be up here long, no more than an hour. Hi.
Yeah.
Testing. So Dad testified today, day 2 of the court hearing proceedings of Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. Yesterday, Fani Willis, took this, well, not the stand, but she was questioned yesterday and displayed unprofessional behavior. She was the stereotypical angry black woman demeanor. And today the father took the stand, the total opposite. Her father personally, the New York Post. Let me just share this real quick before I hand over the mic to you. The father, where is it? Oh, here we go. So already, Trump prosecutor Fani Willis' dad was top Black Panther who called cops the enemy, right? And like I said, of course, they want to add sauce to it, but start off and tell us your thoughts on her father, John Clifford Floyd III.
Okay, he wasn't top Black Panther in that area, Southern California. That would have started off with Shermont Banks when he was a student at Cal State, LA. Then it would have been Bunchy Carter, who became head after he got out of prison. He'd formerly been leader of the Slawsons, a street gang, which went defunct after the upset in 1965 in August. Geronimo Pratt, who had been sergeant at arms, minister of defense for the party in Southern California, he ran it for a while after that. That's Southern California. That's distinct from Huey Newton, who was in and out of jail up in the Bay Area, along with Eldridge Cleaver up in the Bay Area, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he wasn't top Panther. He might be more characterized as being one of the top people in the Black Student Alliance. And in those days, there was a close connection between the Panther Party, which was getting into the schools, but basically was street, the Black Student Union, and that would be as to each of the many colleges and universities in the Southern California area, and the overall thing, Black Student Alliance. And I've said many times that the militant, aggressive Black folk in those days were students, not the street people.
I don't want to go too far into the Black
I'm not
Panther
going into it, but I'm just replying to the headline. All right. Now, John Floyd and I went to school together for about 8 some years. And over the intervening years, we were involved with various and sundry things for National Bar Association. That's Black lawyers. And also with a classmate of ours named Yuko Babu that he talks about indirectly when he's saying where I was before I came here this Wednesday for these proceedings was working on a documentary with the Pan-African Film Festival. That's another one of the brothers that was doing stuff. See, John was a good student, and he wound up being a Harvard professor. He also wound up representing Mandela in South Africa. And in fact, he tried to retire there, he testified to. And he tried mostly criminal cases, some personal injury, Los Angeles, Oakland, San Francisco.
Yeah, I think he said it was family practice, criminal, and then everything else was walk through the door that could pay a bill.
But 85% criminal, and it showed. And he said he testified he had had thousands of trials, or 1,000 plus trials. It showed. He's probably the most advanced trial lawyer that had been in the courtroom, or even including the judge. But the judge was good. I said that before. But back to John Floyd. He tried cases all over the country and in other places in the world. Now, when we get these woke clowns who want to talk about what they've done and they're this, that, and the other, and they've never tried a case, where they tend to be boule, whatever. See, John used to go out on patrols out in the hood when young Black students and street people would go out and make sure that law enforcement and everybody else behaved themselves. See, they don't do that now. And people didn't run from the cops because they were scared. You were either trying to get away or you didn't run. Now, I see a whole lot of punked out behavior that he is the exact opposite of. I'm the exact opposite of, and a whole lot of people that the woke folk never heard of because the mainstream media suppresses stuff. Now, this is somebody that did hang with the Panthers. He had a connection, but it was more often through the Black Student Alliance, which actually was to an extent more powerful then than the Black Panther Party was, but most people now don't know that. And the other thing is that he did a lot, as did other brothers, for a wide spectrum of Black folk that actually accomplished something. So he was upholding. And you could see what he did in his wisdom. Did you notice how polite he was?
Yeah. Should I play just the intro real quick?
Yeah, and then how he there were, if you knew what you were looking at, and half the people that were lawyers in the courtroom didn't even look at it, he was evading some traps and setting some traps. Like one of them that I thought was the most beautifully artful was just sneaking in that he was a professor at Harvard. And that's like beautiful, man. You put that in there, you were just establishing credibility. Now go ahead and play this stuff.
Okay.
We can see some examples.
Say, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you tell the court, are you currently retired?
Yes, I am.
And prior to being retired, can you tell the court a little bit about, did you work in the legal career? Were you a lawyer?
I was an attorney. I practiced law. I've probably tried 1,000 cases. About 50% of my practice was criminal law. 25% of it was family law. And the rest was whatever walked through the front door could pay for it.
Okay. And
Wait 1 second. Come back. I do. My calendar shows it was October 20th.
This is something totally unconnected with the case.
All right, and would defense counsel accept it as a stipulation, or is there any follow-up questioning needed on that? Mr. Barnes is still considered under oath on this point.
Well, actually, this was on
I'll
the
just look
case,
for a
but he
show
was
of
supposed to
hands, or
report
if someone
back to
speaking now on Zoom and hearing none. Thank you, sir. You're excused.
I am going to bring up the governor to
And,
ask governor later.
Yeah.
can you tell the court, are you from Atlanta?
No, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles.
Just like I
I
did.
spent most of my legal career, I would say, in Washington, D.C. was kind of the circle, but I've tried cases all over the country, and I tried the longest. I was the first lawyer to try an international criminal court. I was with the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. I was in trial there for 4.5 years in Arusha, Tanzania, and Hague in the Netherlands.
Okay. When you weren't there, sounds like the kind of center of gravity was Washington, D.C.
Correct, but I've tried cases in West Virginia, Maryland, Florida, California.
All
Yes.
over.
Yes.
And do you, sir, can you tell the court, do you have any children?
I have one daughter, Fani Willis.
Okay. And I want to direct your attention back to 2019, okay?
Yes.
Back in 2019, can you tell the court, did you move here to Atlanta?
I was living in Johannesburg, South Africa. And unfortunately, for some reasons, I could not get an extended visa. When I retired from the practice of law in 2018, I moved to South Africa. And I had to leave South Africa, and I did then come to Atlanta.
Okay, and do you, sir, remember about the time period in 2019 when you moved in with your daughter here in Atlanta?
It would have been the spring or summer of 2019.
And after you moved here, did you get a driver's license to kind of confirm your residency in Atlanta?
Well, my driver's license for the District of Columbia was going to expire on my birthday, which is in October. And yes, I did.
But
get
listen to the
a
way he's going to
license
slip some
here
stuff.
in the state of Georgia.
Got an approach the witness.
Good.
People just take a look at what's been marked.
Okay, Your Honor,
See,
if you don't mind, my eyes are very bad, which is one of the reasons I retired. And so I need a magnifying glass, so I'll be constantly. Thank you.
He asked permission of the court. He's polite, unlike his daughter.
Right.
Yes, I see it was issued on 9/28/2019.
Okay, so before we get there, do you recognize State Exhibit 2?
Yes, just my
Now,
driver's license.
you can do what you
And,
want, but I just
was
wanted
there
you
an
to see how you deal with the courtesies of the profession.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Contrast that to the way his daughter is behaving. And also, I don't know if you're going to play it, although you know this guy is a militant, he will be testifying that he only reads conservative newspapers and watches conservative stuff. You know, he lists the papers and the editor.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the clips real quick. I do have several clips here. Let me bring this one up. Because this was, I would say, this was the one.
John is one of the is an impressive brother. He was smart and he took no shit off of anybody. And it tickles me when some of the woke folk, I don't think most of them have ever been in a fist fight, start trying to act like somebody like him or me somehow or another are sellouts because we found out about the necessity of being effective. You give no slack, but you are representing a client or you have an objective and you want to get it rather than being a loudmouth idiot. And we didn't run being scared from the police.
Right. And the reason why I wanted to play his intro so he could run down his resume, but also, you know, him taking out the magnifying glass, you had these news outlets running with that, like Fox News, like making a mockery of that. And it's like, no, what you don't understand is he turned to the judge, asked for his permission politely, you know, and that is how you're supposed to behave in a courtroom, whether you were behind the lawyer's desk or sitting in that witness seat.
And by the way, that wasn't the extent of his resume. He artfully added to it throughout the proceedings.
Yes.
And the most, I don't know if you have it lined up, but that thing they were trying to trap him about discussing his testimony on being prepped. Now, first off, he could probably prep everybody in the courtroom better than they could prep him. But the thing was so artful. And did you discuss the testimony with the counsel, blah, 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 blah? Did you?
I can see if it's in this one or the next one, but I do want to play this clip here.
Okay.
It's 2 minutes,
Good morning.
9 seconds.
Good morning. Correct. Good morning, Counsel.
When your daughter moved or left,
See how he was polite?
Did she say anything to you about having a large savings of cash?
Oh, no, no. See, maybe, excuse me, and Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay? But it's a black thing, okay? You know, I was trained, and most black folks, they hide cash or they keep cash. And I trained, you always keep some cash because I've been places, and just because of the color of my skin, for example, I took a fellowship at Harvard when my daughter was just if I might, Your Honor, when I was just
see what he did? He was slick.
3 years old.
And that would technically be irrelevant.
In Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I had a American Express credit card and maybe a Visa or whatever, and I had a lot of what they call traveler's checks. I don't even know if they still have traveler's checks, but traveler's checks. And there was a sign said, you know, with the credit card. For whatever reasons, the man would not take my American Express credit card. So I pulled out my Visa card, and he wouldn't take my Visa card. So then I pulled out my traveler's checks. He said, we don't take checks. Now, these were traveler's checks. This was money. I had a $10 bill. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And he said, the bill for my wife at the time, Fani's mother, Fani, and myself was like $9.95, and I had a $10 bill. It was all that. I always remember that. But even before that, I've always kept cash, you know, and I've told my daughter, you keep 6 months worth of cash always. For example, I had 3 safes in my house. I put some of my clients' stuff there too, things I didn't want other lawyers to be, I mean, because you're always in a firm, and I knew that there were special conditions. So my clients' things I would bring home, put them in the safe. But I've always kept safes. And as a matter of fact, I gave my daughter her first cash box and told her always keep some cash.
So is
He's
that
trying to help her, see.
Oh, absolutely.
That's all I got, Judge.
So first of all, that's not a black thing because black people don't have money like that to be stashing.
Oh, yes, they do. This is Los Angeles. See, this is where they had North American, they had Rockwell, they had Martin, they had Lockheed, they had all of these places where they had the aircraft.
He's talking about the upper echelon black.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is these were big time union jobs, and California was not a state that permitted official segregation. So black folk had it going on. They could get into the defense industry. UCLA in 1937 had more black folk in it than when he and I were out there in the 60s. So, I mean,
but this
always
is Robert, I'm not saying that he did not teach his daughter that.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is the fact is you could say that. I thought about it and I was saying, you know, this is the other thing you have to understand. What he's talking about that he's imputing to his daughter comes from a time where he and I were in our 20s. They had just gotten credit cards invented. American Express came up with Diners Club, and then it expanded into American Express. So that was new. They were trying to give these things away. They had Bank America card. That became Visa. So this was when everybody would pay cash. When you walked into a restaurant, you paid cash. People didn't really know what to do with a credit card. So I can see this. That's what we got taught. You would get old brothers who had it going on. This guy is a pharmacist, legitimate. This guy is the vice principal of a high school. This guy is a black dentist. And these guys would pull these big rolls out, peel off, you know, go get my car washed. And when you get through, I want you to pick up so-and-so and so-and-so. And we were used to people having big amounts of cash. That was back, put it away for a rainy day. Women had their back money. A woman that said she was broke just meant she'd run down till she had to go into the back money. Guy talked about he's broke. He really broke. He didn't have back money. But you see, that is really, I thought about it after we discussed it. And I said, you know what?
So
that's true.
Let's fast forward to
but he's giving her an excuse in an artful way to get it in the record because his daughter was being such an obnoxious blockhead. She was hurting herself. Go ahead.
She did hurt herself. And instead of the daughter speaking in this manner, but to the daughter's point, she's trying to say, this is how I was raised. So whenever I go out, whether it's with a gentleman or with girlfriends, I carry cash and I only use cash. See, that is her argument when it comes to the money, because Trump lawyers are trying to say, I don't even think they're not so much arguing that you had a relationship with your coworker that's unethical. They're really arguing you use taxpayers' dollars.
No, what they're trying to do is impeach her credibility.
Right.
Here's what, let me lay out what they're doing before we get in. This won't take long. Okay. The issue is removing the Fulton County District Attorney's Office from the case. Fulton County is most of Atlanta. Cobb County and another one comes up in there. So they're now, what the problem is this. She campaigned all through 2020 on, I'm going to put Trump in jail. I'm going to find out a way to get him in. I'm going to wreck him. So that's what she campaigned on to become the district attorney. Now, district attorneys are not all about prosecution. They are about justice. And often it is the case that the prosecutor says, Your Honor, in the interest of justice, prosecution recommends that this matter be dismissed. Interest of justice. So when she's bragging about as a campaign pledge before she's gotten any information through any formal investigation about wrongdoing, she wants to put somebody in prison or ruin them so they don't ruin America the way she used to state it during a campaign. You start saying, wait a minute, this is not independent. So we want an independent, fair, impartial, and neutral and detached attorney. Now, here's where the issues come in. The Bar Association has rules, American Bar Association, National Bar Association, and they've been incorporated into law, generally with the Supreme Court of the state in question being over ultimate decision making on whether something complies with the law. So one of the requirements in every state is that lawyers should report potential conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest mean something like your spouse is involved. You've got a money interest in the outcome of the matter.
Years.
Your boyfriend is involved, your girlfriend is involved, your son, your daughter, your grandchildren, your nieces, and your nephews. Close friend or colleague is involved, okay? So you don't have to be asked, you're supposed to report this. So she does not report to the court that she has had this ongoing affair with the person that they are appointing supposedly independent, fair, and neutral, and he and she are sleeping with each other. That's not fair and neutral. So she doesn't report it. Next thing of issue is every bar association, every state has this thing called avoiding the appearance of an impropriety. See, there might be the actual commission of an impropriety, but that is not what the sanction is about. The sanction is you not only have to avoid improprieties that are actual, you have to avoid the appearance, even if it's not really an impropriety. So you're supposed to be getting an independent, neutral counsel, and you're sleeping with him? No. Now, where the cash money comes in is she has put it in the record that after running for DA in, I think, 2016 or 2018, I'm not sure when, she was flat broke, busted. So that's what she was claiming. So then it turns out during this period when her finances were, you are able to give this man that you have an affair with thousands of dollars in cash. The other thing is, where did you get the cash if you were broke? That's not really relevant, except it tests your credibility. It also raises an inference of, are you laundering money? Are you getting something you're not reporting? IRS requires that you report monies in the amounts that you are testifying you handed over to this man. So what she did is, instead of saying, oh, okay, if you think this is inappropriate, well, there's a potential appearance of impropriety that I need to, as an officer of your court, Your Honor, bring to your attention. You decide on it and disclose it. That's what everybody does. But she chose to hide it. Right. So when she hides it, then that raises the appearance of an impropriety. And when she's talking about this cash, everybody wants to know, where did you get the money if you're broke? How did you get this? And then the other thing,
the alibi for the cash is I was brought up to keep but
the point is, remember what he just testified to, 6 months cash in. So if you're broke, is that 6 months cash? You know, how do you get that money in the first place when you're talking about, I guess you ran down to your back money? Next thing, They're testing her credibility as a witness, and she's dumping all over the place, and she's contradicted herself. And one of the things here that is important is Wade's wife. Wade is the one she has the affair with. Now, he's never heard of Wade, interestingly enough. She said this was a long-going affair. So her daddy has been living in the house with her since 2019, April, the spring, right? He says he never heard of the man, never met him until last year, 2023. Though he candidly does give her a little out where he says, well, I do recall something coming up about when she got sworn in 2020. I'm a Kappa, and I remember somebody who was an Alpha, maybe that's equivalent to what he's saying, who came up with, spoke to me, and he says that was him. But I don't remember it, because guess who he knew as the boyfriend? A disc jockey who had kind of some kind of government job during the day. And he was over there every day. So it's kind of funny.
Okay, well, maybe because if that's saying, she's saying that they, she and
Wade,
right? Her and Wade timeline is correlating with DJ Deuce, according to Daddy, because Daddy said he met DJ Deuce in 2019,
and he was over there every day.
Right. So was he over there every day until 2020? Because that's when Wade, I think, came into the picture, or he was in the picture before 2020. So
he said he never met Wade.
No. I know him, but I'm just talking about Fani.
Yeah, I know Fani has talked about Wade would be coming by her place, but Daddy is being honest. And
he said, I never met him at the place until
I never met him, but I lived there.
But this is the clip that he's asked a question. When did he meet Nathan Wade? So let me play this clip.
Years in 2020, 2021, had you ever met someone named Nathan Wade?
I did not meet Nathan Wade until 2023, about a year ago, when a reporter by the name of Issakoff interviewed me. I met him. That was the first time I had met him.
You said that was in 2023?
2023, right.
He's already testified that this DJ was over there already.
2023. But when you were living at Miss Willis's house in Fulton County, did you ever meet Mr. Wade in the year 2019?
Absolutely not.
How about in the year 2020?
Absolutely not.
Did you ever see Mr. Wade at Miss Willis's Fulton County house in the year 2021?
Never.
And is it your testimony that the only time or the first time that you met Mr. Wade was in 2023?
Let me say something. Mr. Wade said that he remembers seeing me, and I do remember some banter. I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, and there's kind of this thing that goes on between fraternities, and Mr. Wade is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, and they're, I do remember there was some kind of banter when my daughter was sworn in to be district attorney between me and a couple of guys, and he said he remembers me. I don't remember him.
And prior to that experience that you're talking about, as well as, I guess, your official meeting in 2023, had you ever even heard his name?
No, never.
That was the end of that clip. So
now hold your point. Here's bad. See, this is not good, and I don't think this is a good move for Miss Fani's crew to be putting on, because it looks like he wasn't there and nobody knew about him. Yeah, but you see, she had an affirmative obligation to disclose her relationship with him that they kept secret. That's where she's digging her own tail. And I guess from listening to her testimony, she's trapped her lawyers into a position where they have to support her testimony rather than trying to impeach their own client. So she has dug a ditch, a rabbit hole that she's about to slide down. I don't know how this is going to work out, because essentially, from what she's testified to as to when their relationship started, she has kept it secret from everybody. And that meant she had an obligation as an officer of the court to advise the court, hey, this isn't out there. It needs to be brought in. Do you accept this guy as special counsel? Now, she didn't have to put her business in the streets. She could have asked opposing counsel if they would approach with her and talk to the judge at the bench, or ask for a chambers conference to disclose a potential conflict and ask if anybody had an objection. That's what you're supposed to do. That is not what happened.
Right. Also, we didn't talk about this yesterday, but I want to share this. The friend, oh no, it wasn't this. Wait a minute. This. Her friend Robin said that she was dealing with Mr. Wade in 2019.
Do you know if Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade started dating in October of 2019?
I don't know if it was October of 2019.
Could it possibly be November 2019?
Could possibly.
Okay. And when we spoke, you said it was shortly after the municipal court conference, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that their relationship, their personal relationship, began shortly after this municipal court conference.
Yes.
And when I say personal, romantic. I just want to make sure we don't get in an argument over what personal and romantic is later. When I ask you personal, do you take that to mean romantic?
Yes.
Okay.
That's not the way you
understand it, that their relationship began in 2019 and continued until the last time you spoke with her.
Yes.
And you were essentially her best friend during this time, right?
Not best friend, good friend.
Good friend. Okay, close friend. And so would you frequently socialize with her?
Yes.
And you saw her at work every day?
Yes.
So you had a chance to see them interact together on a personal level?
Yes.
And so from everything that you saw, heard, witnessed, it's your understanding that they were in a romantic relationship beginning in 2019?
Yes.
Did you talk with Ms. Willis about her romantic relationship with Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Did Ms. Willis tell you on more than one occasion that she was engaged in a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to you leaving the district attorney's office?
Did she tell me or did I observe?
I'm saying right now what to tell me.
Yes.
Did she tell you that in the year of 2020?
Yes.
In the year of 2021?
Yes.
Are you certain that Ms. Willis told you about the romantic relationship with Mr. Wade prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
Now, did you also have observations of Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis together prior to November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
And are those observations, were those in a social setting?
Yes.
And did you observe them do things that are common among people having a romantic relationship?
Yes.
Such as, can you give us an example?
Hugging, kissing, just affection.
All before November 1st of 2021, correct?
Yes.
That's all I have.
That was the end of that one. So that was the first. Wait, do you remember when Fani took the stand? She said she's not my friend. She's someone who I knew when I was in college. We kind of kept in touch and you stopped talking, but she was never my friend. We just hung around the same circles, but I knew her to where when I needed a condo.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was laughing about. So See, people don't understand how this works until they actually have sat through a trial on a jury. And what happens is, imagine if you can, a canvas. Somebody comes up, the lawyer on the front end, and sketches the outline. Okay? He's going to be calling up people to fill in the outlines, color between the lines, crayon between the lines. And they're going to be 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, 50 people. Maybe not 50. That's an exceptional trial. And each somebody's going to color in a little space. They're going to have different styles and everything. But eventually, the lawyer that drew those set of lines that everybody's got a color in between is going to hopefully, for his side or her side, get a picture that's recognizable to a jury. And they'll say, oh, that's what it is. These things when you were a kid in the comic books, what is it that's in there? And you connect all the dots and it would be some kind of animal. That's what we're doing here. Now, outside of a courtroom, we just talk over each other and everything else. And you see there are these rules, protocols that aren't just trying to be stuffed shirt. They're trying to facilitate the presentation of what's necessary to paint that picture. And these ways have developed over several thousand years. So they work. So sometimes me and you clash because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like this judge is with this, we've got a point to be made. And although it looks okay to sometimes to lay people, you're leaving out crucial elements to make up this case. You also saw how Attorney Floyd used that opportunity to explain interesting stuff by giving an anecdote. American Express, Visa, they wouldn't take my traveler's checks and I had a $10 bill. You see, that graphically sinks the point in the brain of the trier of fact. Now, there's no jury, but it's a good reason to develop the habit as though there were a jury. That's an experienced trial lawyer. The trier of fact is the judge. Now, if you've been watching this thing, you notice the judge will say, move on, ask and answer. In other words, what he's saying, since nobody's here to make this decision but me, I remember it. It's fixed in my brain. You don't have to keep belaboring it. Move on, which is how you do stuff. So you see what's going on right here. She's testified that guess what she did? She worked in the district attorney's office. You see? So what they are setting up, one side of the examination is, hey, did this happen in 2020, 2021? 2021, you're the DA and you got this romantic relationship that's prior to the appointment of Wade as special counsel. So how do you deal with this? And one other comment too about the money thing. The president of the United States makes $460,000, $480,000 a year. The Attorney General of the United States, to handle all of the legal business of the United States, gets $360,000 maybe a year. There are three other very experienced criminal trial lawyers who are special counsel. Their billings, all three of them together, don't add up to $180,000. This guy is been paid so far between $650,000 and $695,000, and the case ain't even gone to trial yet. So what the hell are you doing signing off on somebody getting $695,000, $650,000 worth of billable hours, and the rest of the lawyers haven't even turned in a third of that between them, and he's already been paid more than the Attorney General of the United States. But this
money is taxpayers' dollars.
Taxpayers' dollars. And see, we have that's in this record the formal evidence that Wade's wife introduced during the divorce proceedings about travel on airplane, hotel accommodations where the travel went to. And she's already been asked specifically and denied that she went to the DMV area, that she flew with him.
Well, I want to bring this up because speaking of lawyers, you know, because you said a couple of times the woman lawyer and which is Trump's lawyer, Miss Merchant, and his other lawyers, they wasn't asking really the proper questions. However, the New York Post already got to come with a headline: "Meet the badass lawyer who could blow up Trump racketeering case over Fani Willis sex secrets." Talking about her, and I don't think she's badass.
She again is trying to turn it into a fight, a personal fight, instead of tending to her case. So is Miss Fani turning it into something personal.
So they have a cat fight.
Yeah, they're having a cat fight. Now, see, the point that Fanny's missing is that the American public is giving her a whole lot of credibility because they assume she's going to be like they see in CSI and on television and all of these series where the people's representative, the DA, is formal. The guys that are in the court and then their boss is this person with a great deal of gravity, well known. And then she's going, let me tell you something, like, wait a minute. And they're going, wait a minute. That doesn't fit with the picture. This is Atlanta. This is the prosecution boss for Atlanta, so to speak. I mean, there are 3 counties that go in there, but Fulton County is the main one. So they're going, wait a minute. Oh, wait. I thought this was a heavyweight somebody. You know, she's in there. Let me tell you something. And it's like, and this one here, she wants to fight. Back off a little bit. You tried to get your client or your witness to say what you want them to say, and then you trap them once you get it. You don't start off jumping their shit.
I think she was asking questions as if this was a murder case, like a real trial, like a jury. And when she was questioning Fani Willis, the judge did have to say, "This is not a trial."
Right? Yeah. She's not on trial.
Yeah, because she kept asking redundant questions if she's trying to trap, and the judge was like, I got all that. What's the next question?
In other words,
they're forgetting there's no jury here. You're trying to convince me.
There you go. See,
so he's trying to convince me. Yeah, like he already know the next question what these lawyers should be asking. So come on, do it.
It's not like what's going next. It's like, okay, you're going, all right, yeah.
Isn't that the difference? That's the difference from a jury, a lawyer trying to talk to a jury, as opposed to you're talking to a judge. You don't have to over explain. You don't have to be redundant with the questions or be dramatic.
Yeah, because technically, let me tell you what the problem is. One of the problems today used to be the judge has been in there. He's done this for 30 years, 25 years, 40 years. And the lawyers are learning how to do it. Maybe there's somebody that's in there that's been done it 20 years, 25, 30, or 40. But the judge is pretty much one of the most experienced people there. He's learned and experienced in law and wise in the ways of the world. What we have right now is, you can see with this clown they've got up in New York on this judge trial up there, he's acting ridiculous. And it's an embarrassment to the profession. And too often, the judge is a rookie. She doesn't have trial experience. You've got some people around the country, great civil rights lawyers, they never tried a case. All they've done is ambulance chase and settle. But you know, and when you never tried a case, they can bamboozle you and you take it or leave it. Let's go to trial. Everybody see how you're fronting off. No, 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 no. You see, so.
Well, speaking of the judges and Trump ordered to pay $355 million barred from New York business and civil fraud case. So a judge ordered the former president Donald Trump to pay $355 million and temporarily banned him from doing
this character, the clown.
Yeah, for doing business in the state where he made his name, after finding Friday that he inflated his net worth by billions to dupe banks and insurers.
Hold on. Let me explain what he just said that is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I pointed this out. Let's say during the course of a trial, it comes up that a street is mentioned and it becomes germane to the case about the layout of the street. The court can say, all right, the court will advise everyone that it's taking judicial, it has judicial knowledge of this. So in other words, I drive down this street every day to get to work. I know what it looks like. So you can't get that out of me. That doesn't have anything to do with the effect. The court just takes judicial notice that this is what's on the street. On 17th Avenue and Osgood, there is a pharmacy. The court takes judicial notice. So what he did is he interjected himself as though he was taking judicial notice, because the proof is the bank said this is the way we always do business. Everybody does what he does. We don't lose money. We didn't get cheated. We made a lot of money out of it, and we all do this, and this is just standard operational procedure. He turns around, in effect, he says, I know better than you what you guys who handle billions of dollars worth of money every damn day and week, I know more than you do about what you're supposed to be doing. So I find he tried to cheat you, even though all of the evidence in the record is that he didn't get cheated. Everybody does it this way. This is how we do business. This is the business practice.
So should we play the district attorney Letitia James and then Donald Trump comment on that, or should I just go to Donald Trump?
Play Letitia James.
Okay, because she's
or his comment. And see, he's rolling his eyes and making all these gestures like, "Oh God, you know."
I didn't find. I can't find a video for that, Judge. I was trying to look for it.
Well, it's been up over the weeks. He's going rolling his eyes, and tossing.
Oh, he's been doing this throughout the case.
Yeah, all the case, like, "Oh God," like you don't put on a show for the camera.
Good evening. Today, justice has been served. Today, we prove that no one is above the law. No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules. We have a responsibility to protect the integrity of the marketplace. And for years, Donald Trump engaged in deceptive business practices and tremendous fraud. Donald Trump falsely, knowingly, inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself, his family, and to cheat the system. Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal. Long-running fraud was intentional.
Okay, now stop right here.
Illegal.
Now, there is not one piece of evidence in this record that is what he did. Every piece of evidence that has been produced by her and the other side, the banks have said, this is the way we always do it. This is the way everybody does it. This is standard operational procedure, standard practice. We did not get cheated. We made money, a lot of money off of this deal. Now, you see what she's saying? Where did they get that conclusion when there's not one shred of evidence to that effect? That's what she said was going on, and that's what the judge agreed to go on. But here's what the thing is. The evidence is inconsistent with the verdict. The evidence is that there was nothing done wrong. And see, that's where you get crazy. So she's doing the same thing that Fani does. Now, if she had this judge that's in the case with Trump in Georgia, she'd probably be copping the attitude. So now she's making a political statement, but if you kept up with the trial, it's like, that's not what anybody who is an expert in the subject said.
Should I continue playing, or should I just go to Trump's response?
Oh, you can go to Trump's response, because I mean, that's the same thing. She just lays out stuff that
she tries to sound so damn dramatic, like
she's playing for the camera,
right?
not for the court.
She wants to be governor of New York.
Thank you very much. It's a very sad day for, in my opinion, the country. A New York State judge just ruled that he's crooked as you could get. And a lot of people expected something like this, but not for the amount. But this is a very dishonest man. This is a man that's been overturned already on this case 4 times. But a crooked New York State judge just ruled that I have to pay a fine of $355 million for having built a perfect company. Great cash, great buildings, great everything. It affects New York. It's mostly talking about New York, where we have a totally corrupt attorney general. She campaigned on the fact that I will get Trump, I will get Trump. Everybody's seen it, Letitia James. They've all seen it. Well, we'll be appealing, but more important than that, this is Russia, this is China, this is the same game. All comes out of the DOJ, it all comes out of Biden. It's a witch hunt against his political opponent, the likes of which our country has never seen before. You see it in third world countries, banana republics, but you don't see it here. So I just want to say this. You build a great company. There was no fraud. The banks all got their money, 100%. They love Trump. They testified that Trump is great, great customer, one of our best customers. They testified beautifully. And the judge knows that. He's just a corrupt person. And we knew that from the beginning. We knew it right from the beginning because he wouldn't give it to the commercial division. This judge thought Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million, and it's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times that amount. So we realized that. He ruled against me before he even got the case. He ruled against me, said I was guilty. He didn't know what I was guilty of before he even got the case. And Letitia James, that's another case altogether. She's a horribly corrupt attorney general, and it's all having to do with election interference. There were no victims because the banks made a lot of money. They made $100 million. And by the way, I paid approximately $300 million in taxes as the migrants come in and they take over New York. I paid over this period of years over $300 million in taxes, and they want me out. Oh, let's see if we can get them out. These are radical left Democrats. They're lunatics, and it's election interfering. So I just want to thank you for being here. We'll appeal. We'll be successful, I think, because frankly, if we're not successful, New York State is gone. People are moving out of New York State. And because of this, they're going to move out at a much faster rate. They used a statute. It's a consumer fraud statute that's never been used for a thing like this before. They used it on me because I'm running for president. I'm beating Biden by a lot. We're beating not only the Republicans, we're beating Biden by a lot. The poll came out today. We're up 20 points on Biden. If I weren't running, none of this stuff would have ever happened. None of these lawsuits would have ever happened. Nothing would. I would have had a nice life. But I enjoy this life for a different reason. We're going to make America great again. These are corrupt people. These are people that shouldn't be allowed to do the things they do. And they're using this as weaponization against a political opponent who's up a lot in the polls and always will be, because I'm competing with a man who can't put 2 sentences together, who doesn't know what he's doing. And we're heading into a third world war because of this guy. We have to win this election. They're doing everything possible to step in our way, but we're not going to stand for it. So thank you very much. We will get back to work. It's a ridiculous award. Listen, a fine of $355 million for doing a perfect job, for having paid back a loan with no defaults, with no problems. The banks were totally, at the trial, they testified. We had an expert witness from the Stern School at NYU that made a statement And I was very honored by his statement. He's one of the most respected people anywhere in the country for doing this kind of thing, expert wisdom. He said, this is one of the greatest financial statements I have ever witnessed before. And he talked about even the detail. So my numbers actually were extremely conservative. They saw this. So what the judge did is he brought down certain values like Mar-a-Lago, made it ridiculous. But the expert, after having all of this, testified it's one of the best financial statements he's ever seen. And I was honored by that. But I also knew we have a corrupt judge. He's not a respected man. And again, I said before, he's been overturned on this case by the appellate division 4 times already. It's a record. Nobody's ever been overturned on one case 4 times. And I think very importantly, and I think ultimately the most important, we've employed tens of thousands of people in New York, and we pay taxes like few other people have ever paid in New York. And they don't care about that. It's a state that's going bust. It's a state that's going bust because everybody's leaving. And it's all headed up by Biden, who's destroying our country. So this is Russia. This is China. This is what you've been reading about all your lives. And it's happening right here in our country. Thank you very much. We will stop it. We will make America great again. You have my word. Thank you very much.
See, this is why people love Trump. What he did is he gave an outstanding summation for purposes of a jury final argument. The lawyer would have done well to deliver a clear and concise closing statement like that. He gave a great political speech. He was on point. He was clear about it. He spoke in plain language. Can't do any better. And the point is that right here, he touched on something. The judge said Mar-a-Lago was only worth $18 million in his opinion. Now, right down the street from where I had a place in Ojai, California, there was an institution known as Black Mountain. It was 11,000 acres. And no, it was 35,000 acres, 35,000 acres. It had 11,000 herd of cattle on it. And a Japanese consortium bought the thing for $65 million way back 25 years ago and gave the guy a life estate in it so he could live there until he died, which he did in his mid-90s. And this is a $65 million country club they're making. No, that was the country club evaluation, $65 million for the country club they were going to build. Now, that country club was equivalent to what they had with Mar-a-Lago. And this judge now with prime Florida, not somewhere in backwoods Ojai, California, in the back 40 of Ventura County. He wants to say, in my opinion, it's only worth 18 million. And the bank said, no, worth a lot more. And it's not like they didn't get their money back. So where is the fraud?
But this is the question as well. Yeah. So where is the fraud if it was fraud, wouldn't the banks be the one taking him to court to sue for their money?
Yeah, and the bank said, we got our money. We made a loan to him. He paid it back with the interest. And he paid early. So this is what they always do. We've dealt with him before. Where is the fraud?
Now he is going to appeal.
Yeah. And this guy's been reversed on 4 separate occasions so far with this case. It's absolutely embarrassing to the profession.
Right.
In other words, the judge is saying, I don't give a damn. I want my appointment. And I think he's an evil something. I'm going to take him out. And then the testimony he's going, oh God, like what in the hell is wrong with you? Mm-hmm. There's no jury in there. So who are you performing this for? The people in the courtroom? The cameras. He wants an appointment in an administration as a federal judge so he can get a permanent job for the rest of his life. And when he retires, he still gets full pay at that job, full benefits. So that's what he's seeking.
Listen, they're getting paid under the table. What is that? Is it the violating the Stark law? It's, what do you call it? Paid for
In other
play.
words, I don't know if he is actually getting bribed.
Allegedly, that's my
no. Well, hold on. What he is doing is angling on what, in effect, is a future but legal bribe, which is somebody in the Democratic administration is going to appoint me to a federal court or to an appellate position. And see, this is how you get hacks that get high positions in the court system that don't deserve it because they've been political. There is not one shred of evidence to sustain what this judge ruled. And Trump gave, and see, what I said kind of matched what he said, but I didn't get it from Trump. I've been a judge, defense lawyer for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it from just reading the record, observing what was going on. And like,
so this is the thing. I want to swing back to Mr. Floyd. Yeah. And Fanny Panny. This is going to be like our last point. I was going to bring up Governor Barnes. He took the stand. I don't know if you saw that today. He's the former governor of Georgia.
They offered him the position of special prosecutor.
He turned it down.
Yeah.
And let me just put us up here real quick. He didn't want to touch it. He was like, because I have other mouths to feed at my law firm, yada, yada, yada. Very polite. And not because he's a former governor. I think he was a lawyer before that and went back.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I know, but he wasn't polite just because he was a former governor. He knows how to move and act and behave in a courtroom to get your point. Your demeanor matters, especially in the courtroom. So he said that it was offered to him. Fannie did offer it to him. He turned it down. His excuse was, I got other mouths to feed in my law firm. He didn't want to touch it. And this is my theory. Is it because maybe I'm assuming he was a Republican governor and maybe he does side with a lot of stuff that Trump was about. And that's one. And then two, prosecuting a former president, right? For Governor Barnes to be a special prosecutor, maybe he will be turning noses up to his country club friends. He's already had a successful career. I don't need this type of headache.
No, lawyers take cases that are unpopular and they kick ass. Are we on Friday night or whatever it is?
Oh,
we're on YouTube. Can we talk freely, or is this one of the censored?
Well, it is community guidelines. We're not on a website.
Okay, all right. This is what's going on here. It's a thankless job. Prosecuting a criminal case takes up a lot of time to do it right, or defend one, more so than any other kind of case, basically. And it requires the art of a stand-up comedian in order to do what's going on. Now, this
correction
is probably a Democrat, but bottom line is still it's thankless, and the reimbursement schedule is not good. So what's
thankless? What's thankless?
In other words, it's a lot of work and nobody's going to be satisfied with you. It's not going to generate any business for your firm, which is what he's talking about. Okay. And you're going to get more people talking about you than thanking you for what you did.
And he don't need that.
I don't have time for that.
Right. But Fannie, Office, and Nathan Wade, this is a case of a lifetime.
No, here's what they did. See, it's an opportunity to look really, really bad because they're going to get to watch you. See, every television station is going to be carrying this, and there's already permission granted for it to be televised.
Which one? What? The Fannie case or the Trump case?
Fani case. This
Okay,
is
but
no, I'm talking about the Trump case.
yeah, I'm talking about the Trump case too. But my
Yeah, but
point
now here's what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be watching it. Now, when you saw Johnny Cochran in the OJ matter in that team, everybody in there was experienced. It's as good as it gets. Dream team.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing they wanted to hide from people looking at them. They didn't fumble. They didn't stumble. They had all the I's dotted, T's crossed. Now, on the other hand, you have seen things that came out on TV where lawyers did not. No, the lawyers looked like they were amateurs. They made a lot of mistakes.
And they
Fumbled and they stumbled. They got overruled. And here's the other thing.
No, wait, slow down. But they were also sleeping together on the prosecution.
No. I'm talking about
OJ trial.
No. I'm talking about the defense counsel.
I know.
In other words, if you really know what you're doing, then you get out on the floor and you let everybody look at you as so you can show what you're doing. If you are a rookie or an amateur or you're half-assed at what you do, you want it to be behind the scenes because there's too much at stake unless you are really good at what you do that will be shown to the public to say, this dude ain't worth nothing.
Right. No. I agree with you. And you know more than me when it comes to that. What I'm just trying to correlate, because you brought up the OJ as an example of experienced dream team and non-experienced prosecutor. In that non-experienced prosecutor team for OJ Simpson, it was an inappropriate love affair going on. Fast forward to Fani. I'm sorry. If you were able to prosecute a former president on election fraud, that is the top. That is the jewel that I would think. But again, you sit up here, you blew it up over a love affair.
No, what she couldn't, because she, just like the one up here that Trump talked about, was bragging about she's going to put Trump in jail to get elected. So she gets elected on the promise of having a bias toward a particular defendant before she knows anything about the case.
That's
too.
Prosecutors
have to be neutral enough to say, in the interest of justice, Your Honor, the state will move to dismiss this case. See, your thing is to return justice, even if it means dismissing the case.
Looking at it, how can this progress my career? How can this benefit me? Because Fani probably looking at this, if I get to prosecute the form of government, I'm going to be the next shoe-in probably for Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, that's what she's looking at, and she's just doing the exact opposite. Because it looks really bad.
All right. I'm trying
to notice what her father does. Her father reads conservative newspapers and watches conservative news outlets.
I'm trying to find the clip, that part. Let me see.
Yeah, but when you listen to her, notice how he is even on what he does. He interjects humor. It's about.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a clip. Wait a minute.
I see that in my notes. So spring, summer 2019 is when you moved here. So that entire year, 2020, you remained here in Georgia.
Right.
In 2021, did you do any travel?
And we're back.
Damn commercials. Wait a minute.
Now, see, that's how Fani
moved to Los Angeles.
The blues.
I spent more time in California, in Oakland, if you really want to just be, because Peter is basically San Francisco based. So we're working on the documentary.
Okay.
I was in Los Angeles because I was going to the Pan-African Film Festival.
Now, stop there. Stop there. This is an important note for all of these woke idiots who don't understand about right. Pan-African Film Festival is one run by somebody named Ayuko Babu. Now, Mr. Floyd here, myself, Ayuko Babu, and some other Black militants, we were looking at Frelimo. guerrillas in Mozambique, and they had righteousness on their side. So we got a whole jetliner full of brand new combat boots that we had gotten donated. The State Department seized the combat boots. We decided to send them money. So we got Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Pharoah Sanders, Oscar Brown Jr., et cetera, to put on a concert that lasted from 7 o'clock in the evening all the way to 6 a.m. the following morning at the Palladium on Hollywood Boulevard. That's what happens and what we did. See, that was dealing with actual impact on world affairs instead of just running your mouth off talking about being a damn victim. Now, see, that's where he was coming from and what's going on. And these people are still doing stuff. Ayuko Babu.
Yeah, it's either it happened already or it's going on now. That Pan African Film Festival.
Yeah, and see,
I think
we
it happened.
all went to UCLA Law School together more than 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And you see all of these woke folk, what have you done in law school? What have you done in college? No, see, brother you don't need a college degree because, well, yeah, fine with you. But you see, we made differences for a lot of people. This man used to go out on patrol in South Central LA.
Do your Cash App, is your Cash App still active?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not going to put it up because somebody.
Yeah, it's not active, but
we
you're talking about the political one. Yeah, it's not active. But see, here's the thing: this man used to go out on patrol armed in South Central LA to keep residents and the police acting right.
But my Cash App is still active, guys.
Yeah.
Just to
this is before Huey Newton and that bunch walked into the California legislature profiling with the shotguns, we begged them not to. They wanted publicity and money. But this is one of these brothers that was doing stuff when the police was serious police, and ain't nobody talking about I ran because I was scared.
Right. Let me finish playing this clip here. Let me go to here.
Just something to compare yourself with.
Your Honor, I'm not trying to be racist, okay? But
it's that one.
It's a circumstances were. So I knew that she had gone out of town, but I didn't know with whom.
I see. And did she tell you in November of 2022 that she had gone to Aruba and stayed at the Hyatt Regency Resort there in Aruba for 3 days with Mr. Wade? Did she tell you that?
The answer was, again, I knew she went out of town. I didn't even know where she went. I knew she was going out of town. She told me she was going out of town. I think she might have said she's going out of the country or something. She'd be gone. But other than that, that was all.
Okay. And did she tell you in March of 2023 that she was going to Belize for several days with Mr. Wade?
The same answer, that I knew she would tell me she was going out of town.
Let me just say this real quick before I continue playing. We don't tell our fathers, mothers, and dads. We don't tell you where we're going. I'm going out of town for a few days. That's it. So why would she tell her father? That's none of dad's business. Just like it would be none of my business. You know, him telling.
May not have told me where. Hold a second. But she'd be gone for a couple of days.
Okay.
Remember the context. Hold the point. Hold it. Remember the context is I didn't meet this man until 2023. This is 2022. I haven't met him.
Yeah, that's what he says. But yeah,
many days you would be out in California, correct?
Mr. Sheriff, that's it, Your Honor. All right.
Beatty. And when were you talking about the cash? I didn't know that. I don't know what you're asking me. What I told my child
testimony,
because I was asked.
This is
you can turn any slogan.
The way he did it here.
Well, yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about with the cash.
Let me get rid of this commercial. Wait.
See, he's jumping a lawyer who is inartfully cross-examining him.
Does that work? Just to hold one more moment. All right, there we go. You can proceed, Mr. Sheriff. Sir, you seem to know about the issue of cash in this transaction. You said it was a black thing. How did you know that the cash was going to be an issue in this testimony?
Because I was asked for it and I was prepped by the lawyers and they asked me about it.
Now watch this.
What else?
And did you speak with Mr. Wade about your testimony?
No.
Did you speak with your daughter about your testimony?
She may have been present when the lawyers were. I really don't remember.
If Mr. Wade and your daughter were dating, you wouldn't have known that unless your daughter told you.
What do you, maybe I'm not understanding your question, counsel. So maybe you want to restate. What is it that you're asking me?
Yeah, if it wasn't clear, I can re-ask the question. I'll rephrase it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Mr. Wade, if Mr. Wade and your daughter were dating, you wouldn't have known that unless your daughter told you.
I did not know that they were dating. And when were you talking about the cash? I didn't know that. I don't know what you're asking me. What I told my child from the time she was a child is always have some money. Always have some money. If you go on a date so that people don't try to stick you and you want to leave whoever, always keep some cash, okay?
Mr. Floyd, you answered the question that the attorneys prepped you for that. So that's all I wanted to know.
Anything else, Mr. Sheriff?
That's it, Your Honor.
All right.
Don't cut the television on.
Oh, here we go.
Did you answer the question? I wanted to
Known about her boyfriend, the disc
Hey,
jockey.
Debs.
Objection.
I think
He was waiting for the objection to be ruled on.
Okay.
let's keep going.
Now, you wouldn't have known about her boyfriend, the disc jockey, had you not been living with her, correct?
That's correct.
I'll allow overruled.
Add nothing further.
Did he answer the question?
He said that's correct.
All right. By
He was
show of hands,
leading question,
Redirect on
by
those
the way.
points only. Ms. Merchant.
I just want to know when you were prepped by the lawyers, when this prep session was.
Now listen to this.
I just got off the plane on, what was it, Tuesday night? I think I was probably drooling at the mouth. I was so tired. So it must have been, I got in Wednesday. It must have been Wednesday.
Okay. And did you talk about any of the testimony from yesterday or watch any news reports or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. You can't cut the TV on without seeing this. The first thing, and I listen to conservative radio a lot, and, you know, last night for 5 hours, all they talked about was this case.
So you were aware of what the testimony your daughter gave yesterday was?
Yeah, unless you don't cut the radio on, unless you don't cut the television on, unless you don't read the AJC or any other, the New York Times or whatever, which I do every day, of course.
So is it fair to say nobody instructed you that you were under the rule of sequestration?
Right, and I'm not under subpoena either.
Thank you.
See how he got around that?
Because they kept saying, "Oh, were you prepped?" Like, first of all, he wasn't told not to be prepped. That's irrelevant question.
And he's well aware of the technicality because every state has what they call the rule, which is you are not to discuss your testimony with any other witness or discuss their testimony. You may not be present in the courtroom until after you have testified. So he never was subpoenaed. He never was formally before the court, so he can do whatever the hell he wants. He has not been instructed by the court in order to refrain from discussing his testimony with anybody else. So he could talk about it with his daughter. He could talk about it with the lawyer. The lawyer's prep cases. This is a judge, not the jury. Oh, they've been talking about it. Of course you prep with your client.
Yeah, because that's what he was like. He was like, you turn on the radio, turn on that. He was like, unless I don't turn on the TV or don't turn on the radio. And basically, why would I do that? Why would I not watch TV?
Now, something interesting here too, just as an aside. Damn near everybody that I knew who was militant back in the 60s, who would go out on patrol or put themselves out on an edge in order to advance the cause of the people, that was a radical then, deals with conservative stuff now we all read conservative stuff because what they're called being radical now has nothing to do with what we assigned as issues. It's about a social agenda that we don't approve of. So that's what his daughter is into, that little social agenda, the blue.
So basically this conversation where I pulled you in tonight, because we won't do lives on Friday, but I pulled you in tonight to do this live to highlight the father, is because, and I put in the chat, did the father help Fani case? Yes or no. Majority of people saying no, but the fact is that his demeanor is the demeanor that she should have took. Not
exactly.
And she should have known better. Don't give us. We don't want. Oh no, it wasn't this.
Do you have a clip of her walking in the courtroom?
Yes. I'm about to play the. I wanted to play this real quick. Because we got these woke black girl magic professional black women, of course, rooting for her and her bad behavior, like Reese. She's part
and see, look, this is stupid.
One second. She's part of Roland Martin's crew, and she goes, she
said, this is Fani. This is a quote of Fani.
Yeah, this is a quote. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election. And then Reese writes, woo, Fani Lewis is mopping the floor with home skillet. I did comment. I said she's going to be mopping the floor in an orange jumpsuit. But let me just.
I agree with you on that.
I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Too much nasty black woman attitude. And
look at this hand on him. Look at this.
Seeing the subpoena, Ms. Merchant is called her as the next witness.
Look at that
was
smirk.
it, just the argument, no testimony.
Right, I listened to the argument this morning where Adam Abadi, I thought, did an excellent job pointing out how dishonest you were with the court on Monday. And
that was not the question asked.
The hearing continued, but since it did, here I am.
Great. So let's just talk about what you did in preparation for today. Did you meet with Mr. Wade at all? Once the motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you?
On this first January motion?
Yes.
I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman. Me, not so much.
Now, what in the hell was the point of this gratuitous bullshit? Look at her hand on her hip. Like, yeah.
Right. Too much.
What in the hell is the point? That was gratuitous. There's not a jury in that. There's a judge who is the trier of fact. And no, this is about whether or not the district attorney's office for Fulton County should be removed from further proceedings in this case. Because the people need fair, and look at that hand on the hip. Look at it. God damn. That is just inappropriate. And with that attitude on the face. Like, give it a break. And she's already been rude to the judge a whole bunch of times in these proceedings. What are you trying to do?
Right.
So you see how her father behaved. You haven't played anything with Wade. Wade came in there and he was cool, chill back, and ain't nothing.
Should I find something of his?
Play something of his. He plays this straight up too. He says, I do not have a recollection.
Yeah, he was playing stupid, a little bit.
Well, that's what everybody does, You don't put your foot in your mouth, take it out and put it up your own behind.
Right. Okay, so
look at that.
Wait, I'm trying to find his testimony real quick. Okay, here you go. So it says here, this is like a tense moment. I'm not going to, it's 6 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole.
You work 24 hours in one day and build 24 hours in one day.
I've never worked 24 hours in one day and build 24 hours in one day.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked me that question because I like the opportunity to talk about that.
I think you should go ahead.
So if you look at that invoice where it says 24 hours in one day, it actually doesn't say one day. If you look at the top of the invoice, it says date completed. The date that's reflected on that invoice reflects the date that the work was completed. It doesn't say when it started. It just says this is the date that is completed. So if you go through the invoices, probably around the first 5 or 6, you'll see that that's the billing format. I would bill only after that particular task has been completed. That's why you see a 24-hour period with the one day there. I kind of wish some of the experts who had opined on that had called me and asked me the question, but there was never a billing of 24 hours in one day. Now, probably around the 6th or 7th invoice, you see the format changed. I started using a range so that it got—
Stop there.
Right?
I'm confused. So maybe—
Stop there. He's never been appointed on a criminal case before, so he doesn't know how to do that. And, you know, by the time you get his age, if you've been practicing criminal law and there's a conflict where 2 defendants with divergent interests are, say, eligible to have the public defender's office appointed, you appoint private counsel. So you have had the experience of submitting a claim. Now, the problem with this is, in my opinion, having done this for 50 years, the billing is extremely excessive. And what it's about reflects civil lawyers' proneness to maximizing billable hours, which you don't do for a criminal case because technically somebody will cut you off because the funds available to pay appointed counsel are limited. And you've got all of these people who out of the same fund are entitled to appointed counsel when they have first-degree murder cases, death penalty demanded, very serious cases. This is an election fraud case, which if this is the scale, bottom here, top here in difficulty, this is down here because it's just election fraud. It's not where somebody's life depends upon the outcome with a death penalty case.
Let me ask you this though. I'm gonna ask you this. My answer is yes, but do you think Nathan Wade was using Fani Willis? I think
he may have. Classically, from what she describes, she was paying for dick.
Right, but and then to listen. You're in a high power position. You know what I'm saying? It does require grueling out long hours. It's a lot of work. So, and you are a woman, which means it's usually the man working long hours. He gets to come home to the wife. You're not coming home to a husband, but you are a human being. You want affection. You know what I'm saying? You want to be with a man or a woman, but you want, you want to get laid. It's nothing wrong with that. But I think he used her, and honestly, she played herself because you shouldn't have to pay for trips. Whether you was paying him cash or not, whether you didn't want to use taxpayers' dollars or not, why are you paying half? And he wasn't your man. He was still attached to a marriage, even though they probably was separated. Okay. But why are you paying half? Or why are you paying for the whole thing? So I think he used her. And as a man, even if a woman offered, why would you take it?
Let me read what somebody sent me. These aren't my remarks, but they're right on point.
I don't want to finish playing his thing because—
No, we don't have to, but let me just read what some layman sent me. And I think the remarks are pretty on point. Just say Fani Willis is being used as a puppet trying to take Trump down. Sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. She knows by now, she ought to know by now, that the left is using her as a crash dummy for the Trump thing. They knew she was flawed to begin with. He's calling her a class A type narcissist. And that's why they placed her in that position and used her to go after Trump. Remember, she campaigned for months saying, I was going to get Trump. He hadn't even been defeated yet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the whole black girl magic, sister girl act she gives in concert is her narcissism. She gives in court, not concert, is her form of narcissism. Now, she knows she's been caught red-handed in a number of things, perhaps perjury, perhaps abuse of the billing process, perhaps fraud, perhaps money laundering, certainly some things that IRS is going to be interested in terms of failure to report, failure to keep records, fail to file, fail to say what she's given him, which are way over the gift limits. And she's basically, as he puts it, best way I can think, his brother's name is Chester Davis. He's from Atlanta. And he says she's singing Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. And that's what we get as a synthesis. Now, one of the things is that she's committing some stuff in the process of an indefensible grasp on this case. She just has to have it.
Mm-hmm.
That have exposed her to tax problems, ethics problems, general criminal problems, and also potentially money laundering. See, one of the things that's in this is that at the time this is happening with her giving out these cash payments, she testifies to him, thousands of dollars at a time out of her own pocket. She had been contending that she was flat broke, busted from expense of running for the office in, I think
we went over that. Yeah, we went over that.
I know, but I'm just saying it's astonishing that you come around and you bring this issue up, cash defense, where you could have just said, all right, perhaps there's a conflict here, Your Honor. What do you think of it? I will disclose.
That was it. Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not.
What's the problem here?
Right. And that's why I cannot and I will not ride with her. I'm not on that tribalism, black girl. This has nothing to do with race. Nothing. And it's the only reason why she's using it or other people are using it because that's your only one trick pony, which is irrelevant. This has nothing to do. It has nothing to even do with gender. Why? Because you said you are his equal. Trump DA Fani Willis says prosecutor she dated once said the only thing a woman can do for him is make a sandwich. So she says, Willis said she and Wade would have brutal arguments over the fact that she was his equal. Well, Miss Thane, if you want to be a man's equal in a relationship and in the workplace, then you need to learn how to take it on the chin. You don't use your gender. You don't use your race when you fuck up.
I'll say this too.
Because men don't do that.
I'll say this too. She hasn't been upholding with what she's been demonstrating up in that courtroom. That's pretty pathetic.
And that's really why he dumped her, because you didn't want to make him a sandwich. And I guess she said, I don't got to make you no sandwich. I'm prosecuting President Trump. Who are you? Make your own sandwich. I pay for half the trips. Now,
yeah, but this is like, okay. Darton in the OJ trial and Marcia Clark. Let's make it so it doesn't look anti-woman. Let's just take Darton. He's frat brother of mine. But I'm gonna talk about his ass.
So was Nathan Wade. Here, A Alpha.
Yeah, but Nathan Wade got him some nookie, and he got a lot of money
and free trips.
And yeah, and he's not going to get jacked up for ethics, She is. Now, let's take Darden. Darden was so piss poor bad in his performance in that OJ trial that I used to, when I was an adjunct professor at the local law school, I used to show the class tapes of him. This is how you don't do it. And I bring Marcia Clark in that this is just flat incompetence. You're pissing the trier of fact off. The jury is getting pissed off with what you were doing. You have turned off these folk because of your ridiculous antagonistic conduct. See, where the judge said, Mr. Darden, would you sit down? The court has already ruled on this. Do not object again. But, Your Honor, we sit down, overruled. And you see, when you start doing that kind of little chicken-ass stuff, you look very bad. And why didn't she just bail on it? It's no sweat off her back.
Why couldn't you fuck somebody else?
And here's the other thing.
This is messy. What outside of the why couldn't you just screw someone else?
But see, here's the other thing too. I did this for a living for 50 some years. Either what the judge is doing or what the other lawyers are supposed to be doing. Hell, I was even a prosecutor once myself. Now, here's what the problem is. It's a lot of work. You aren't getting paid extra for doing extra work.
Okay.
You don't get overtime.
Right.
So you get tied up and you get all the headaches. Why keep the case if you know there is an out? Are you that committed to just persecuting somebody? That's bad. Or are you using this as an opportunity to overpay your boyfriend and not let anybody know this man is your boyfriend? So are you getting something out of it that you aren't supposed to get? Because remember, there is a kickback, and they have been attempting to prove not as their primary objective, but just as a matter of impeachment, you're getting nice little play trips paid for by the people of the state that you otherwise would have paid out of your pocket. Is that why you're so trying so hard to keep this case? In addition to, you're not interested in doing justice. You're interested in getting a certain target.
Yes. I think we're losing that point in this soap opera now. This is a shit show now. And this is why that case needs to be thrown out. And they both of them, she needs to be removed. And then if he's up next, he has to be removed. Dismiss this case because, right, you're forgetting that this is about justice, not about one man.
Okay, give you an example. The one that vigorously prosecuted Lucky Luciano, who set up the syndicate.
Well, we need to start winding down.
I know he vigorously prosecuted Lucky Luciano, who set up the syndicate. Okay, he and Meyer Lansky, but Meyer Lansky didn't go. Lucky Luciano insisted on overruling his lawyers, and he wanted to testify. Bad mistake. Okay, but when he got the conviction and he got into it,
that's a good one, Dickgate.
Okay, that's good, Dickgate. I like that. But the prosecutor turned around and said, in the interest of justice, I'm going to help out Lucky Luciano. And he made arrangements. Dewey was the prosecutor who became the governor of the state. He said, this man's helped out the World War II efforts of the United States. I'm going to try to help him. And he did. And he got everything dealt with and deported. Look what happened. Remember Bumpy, the black drug dealer in Harlem? They made a movie out of it. Russell Crowe played the prosecutor. He was vigorous in his prosecution, but it wasn't personal. And the bottom line is at some point it became, okay, I'll help this guy out. So he switches and starts representing the man later that he prosecuted. So clear conflict of interest, but he declared it to everybody, and everybody says, okay. So
I gotta get to some super chats.
Yeah.
Thank you to actually let's bring us up. Thank you. Jimmy Eagle says Fani Willis ex-friend's testimony lines up perfectly with Nathan Wade's law partner / divorce attorney's text about when the relationship started after the judiciary conference. Yeah, because his law partner did testify today after dad testified. He was trying to lie, but he just couldn't. But thank you, Sharon, for the super sticker. Halimel, thank you, Dana and Judge, for speaking truth. Yeah, mainly the judge, but yes, thank you. Thank you for the super sticker. RJ, thank you, 1867 Harriet, for the super sticker. And thank you again, 1867 Harriet, for the super sticker. A couple okay, this is a question. Why was her father testifying? Didn't she ask her father to?
Yeah, they did. He wasn't even subpoenaed. It's just like, come in and tell them, I want you to tell them about the money. So see, she testified when?
And she's like, Dad, can you come in and testify? Because I don't feel like going in there today. And he's like, I'll come in. And he did a better performance than she did, but
he showed how a lawyer is supposed to behave. And he was artful. He showed he had mastered the skills.
Right. It's not Fani. It's I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm calling her Fani the Mammy. Fani is, I don't care. Fani.
Well, somebody was defending you there. Fani is pronounced Fanny. So, what?
Fani is pronounced Fanny. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's not Fani, but I'm calling.
No. The Atlanta bully. That's funny.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I'm calling her Fani the Mammy. Thank you. Who was that?
Why was she late paying
for defending me? Thank you.
Did you see that somebody question? Why was she late paying her income taxes if she had all that money? Well, see, she testified.
No, I'm about to come there. One second. I need to get to the super chats. Thank you, damn Rochelle. Thank you, ma'am. Exactly. Yes. Thank you, Terry Caprice. Thank you, Dana, for your info. And Judge Brown could come out of retirement as judge, prosecutor. So sexy. She called you sexy.
Thank you. I'll take that. I don't mind. And I'm a bachelor, by the way.
Hop in his ex DMs, honey. Muni Rich. Okay, why was late paying income taxes if she had all that money? Yeah.
Yeah, well, there it is. See, that's one of the issues. See, you know what this comes in to be relevant for? Credibility. In other words, you told this story. Now let's break it down. Why did you tell this when you didn't have to offer it? Did you see what she put in there about him with the ham sandwich, making the sandwich? Not ham sandwich, sandwich. Well, it was gratuitous. Why do you throw that crap in there? What is that about?
Too much. If you notice, Dad was saying yes, no. Former governor was saying a lot of yes, no. Stop talking so much. Just yes or no. Yes, no.
See, she's a narcissist. Just like
so.
This person said, a narcissist.
Judge Joe Brown, ain't it a shame that poor Fani didn't know what continent her daddy was on when he was inside? Because remember during her testimony, she was like, we went to Belize, but forgive me, I don't know what continent that is. So then you don't even know the continent that your father was on when he was in South Africa. He was funny.
That was bad.
That was
College of National
Sciences. Love you, Judge. They say love you, love you.
You know what she actually has done is amazing. This wasn't about her. This was a motion to remove the Atlanta District Attorney's Office, Fulton County, from the case. This fool turned it into a matter about herself and put her dumb butt in the firing line. How do you manage to do that?
What I'm doing? I'm trying to reenact. This is a lie. That's what she was doing.
And that actually was some of the least offensive stuff she did.
She was
look.
her attitude, honey. Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm going, damn, what in the devil, baby?
So
back way off of it.
Guys, please hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit the bell button to get all notifications. Follow Judge Joe Brown on Twitter at Judge Joe Brown TV. Go to my website, therealdananetwork.com, and sign up. Now, you are without a car. So I am utilizing all this time, honey. Monday is President's Day. Are you available Monday?
I'm going to have one of my chauffeurs come get me.
What are you doing Monday?
I don't know.
Nothing. Because
I wanted to see a movie.
On Monday, you can see
the only movie I've seen in the last few months. I saw Equalizer with Denzel.
You saw The Beekeeper.
Beekeeper. You have to see
Yes.
Beekeeper.
Go to the movies Saturday or Sunday. But Monday is President's Day. And I had an idea. Do not elaborate what I'm about to say. Can you promise me 1 hour to do a live show 1 hour on Monday? 1 hour.
Did they ever last just 1 hour?
No, this was 2.
Do they ever?
Okay, promise me.
We talk off the air, and does that ever last an hour?
Okay, 2
you
hours.
Sort of my baby girl. I'm Uncle Joe. You kind of a unofficial niece.
But this is business. So 2 hours. 2 hours Monday, President's Day. Because you know I want to go with this. Got to talk about Trump. Got to talk about Biden. He was in Ohio today, by the way, a hot mess. Also, I want to bring up, since we're talking about.
Wait. Let me say one thing about Trump real quickly. That thing we heard in his reaction was more clear, concise, to the point, and eloquently said in a long while than Joe Biden has come up with for years. And there's only 2.5 years difference between them. Trump is 77. I'll be 77 my next birthday in
July.
Yeah. So anyway, what the hell? See, this is what's interesting. They are falsely blaming Biden's problems on age-related dementia. He's always been like that, rather incoherent and off point. He's not been the brightest bulb in the room, and nobody wants to talk about how he wound up getting exposed in 1988 when he was running for president.
We save it for Monday.
I know, but
because I want to talk about all that, and also I want to bring up people who are inappropriate in the workplace, and I need to bring up your sister girl Chucks and Pearls when she was in San Fran. Do not talk about it now. Let's save it.
I'll just say this: the way Fani acted, that's the way she acted in court. At least my lawyer friend. Yeah, that's what except the difference was she looked a little better than Fani. So she would wear these skirts that would hike up 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches.
Let's save it for Monday. So that's what. So I want to.
Well, we're not going to talk about it on Monday.
No. But I want to continue on a Fani train Monday, but I want to do it on the lines of the difference between men and women interacting in the workplace romantically. And I want to use Kamala Harris as an example. And of course, it's President's Day. So I want to talk about presidents from the past and presidents in the future. So that's 2 hours on Monday. Please.
Let me say something else too. You saw a slight illustration or something that the lady.
Well, is this your closing remarks?
Yeah, I don't. It's not meant to be sexist, but ladies, if you get in this situation where you're in the kitchen, you have to take the same heat as the guys in there, and that means you have to play by the rules. You can't excuse what you're doing because you are a black woman and you're supposed to be getting cut slack. Remember, you're trying to deprive somebody of life, liberty, or property and do it through due process and represent the state of Georgia, this ain't personal to you. Ain't got nothing to do with your feelings. The other thing is, this is how I won damn near every time I went up against a female prosecutor. You know how it was? I got her to try and prove she was better than me. And she spent a whole trial doing that rather than focusing on her case. So you give them little things.
For her and all her emotions.
Yeah. And you just said, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the trial's over. We spent this whole trial with defense being on point, dealing with the issues that got slightly raised by the prosecution that weren't, because the opponent over here has been too busy trying to prove she's better than me rather than proving her case.
So just before we leave out, I did do the poll. 1,400 people did the poll, and 80% said the father couldn't help her.
Yeah.
It was just Thursday was just too much damage control. So guys, all right. So I'm already telling the judge 2 hours on Monday.
See what you did? You just said 1 hour. You deceived me.
Well,
that's all right. That's all right.
Admirer Tara, I was trying to pull her comment. She was saying, "Please, judge."
I saw that. Please, please, please.
Yeah.
She spoke nicely. I'm a softie for women. So anyway, yeah, I'll yeah.
I'm taking advantage. Why his cars is in the shop, honey. I'm taking advantage.
Everything in Memphis is in the shop around here. People's cars are getting wrecked. The streets are so bad. It's pathetic.
Can Dana make? Yeah, I can make a sandwich. All right.
She offered to cook for me when I was there in New Jersey doing this thing for $5.
I did. No, I took you out to dinner.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I
yeah.
paid.
And you took me to a nice function at one of your relatives' place.
Yes, I did. I sure did.
Good party.
Yeah. They were good people. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight's Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Yeah, to talk more about Fani and women trying to be like men in the workforce and why it goes badly more so for women than men. We have more.
She bought us some sex.
I wish I can't pay for it. I wish I would never.
See, guys are always accused of paying for sex. I guess she was trying to.
That's really normal.
So she paid for it. I mean, damn.
And she wanted to be a modern woman. You could be all that modern stuff if you want. Be all that modern woman, paying for trips, doing it up for his 50th.
Well, that was one thing. That was a classic line. I love this. I got to read this line. Could I do? Give me a hot second to bring it up. This was a beautiful line. Okay. It was funny too.
I'm tired. Where's the line?
It's a great line.
Where's the line? Who said it? What you pulling up?
The line was basically somebody posted it, said, the trick paid, it's like the trick paid the gigolo. And
did I write that down earlier? You told me that earlier.
Yeah, the trick paid the gigolo.
Yeah, trick paying a gigolo, morally corrupt.
Yeah,
morally bankrupt. Also, before we go, I want to say thank you to Southern Belle. She is one of my moderators. She's been in the chat telling you guys to Cash App, to like, to share. Thank you so much, Southern Belle. Thank you. I don't see Renee tonight. She's another good moderator, but I just want to give acknowledgement. Shout out to Southern Belle. Love you, girl. All right, Judge, we gotta go. Say good night. Say good night to everybody.
Good night. And it's Friday night. All of you ladies out there have been my date for Friday night since you were in attendance.
A lot of ladies in here too, yeah.
Yes, indeed. I feel warm all over just contemplating that. Yeah.
We'll see you guys on Monday for President's Day, a special show on President's Day. All right. Bye.